Hi everyone, I hope you all had a fantastic new year and all the best for 2012. I hope it brings everything to you that you could possibly want. And I hope you all had a really Merry Christmas. I still have my tree up, but it's coming down in the next day. And yeah, you always get those sort of post Christmas blues, don't you? But never mind. A few days ago, I did a question and answer video. It was my first attempt at doing that, where people could post questions, topics that they wanted to be discussed. And I've watched a lot of these videos on other people's videos that other people's channels that I watch and subscribe to, and it's always been, as a viewer for me, it's always been really fun watching people do Q&A videos and getting people to talk about some of the things you want them to talk about or hear their opinions on. And I thought it'd be a fun way for all of us to get to know each other a little bit more. So I'm going to answer some of those questions now, but before I do, I've got a couple of housekeeping matters for the channel. First of all, I just reached 300 subscribers. Well, I've got 302 subscribers at the moment, and I'm completely blown away by that. I really overwhelmed by the fact that I've got that number of subscribers. Um, this channel started off as like a sort of small offshoot from other stuff that I do on YouTube or online, and it's really grown to become like this really great hobby that I really enjoy. I look forward to making videos, and I always look forward to hearing from all of you. And it's something that I've just really grown to love doing, and I really appreciate the time that people take to watch my videos, to comment, to do video responses. It's really nice that you guys take the time to do that. And what I want to do is I want to take the channel to the next level. I want, and not necessarily like in popularity, although that's always nice, obviously, but more so, a lot of the videos that I've done haven't really been well thought out. I don't work from a script or from notes really, but I'm going to try to be more concise. I'm going to try to be from videos to be better planned out. I think it'll be more enjoyable for you guys. I think I'll enjoy it probably more because I'll be able to look at my videos and be maybe a little bit more proud of them. And yeah, so that's really what I'm aiming to do in the new year. And to do that, I'm working on doing like a sort of weekly show, I suppose you would call it. Everyone calls their videos shows on YouTube, don't they? I feel a bit strange doing that, but I want to do this sort of movie related show where I'll be talking about upcoming releases, films that have been released that week. I'll also be doing some sort of small reviews, and but most importantly, what it will be is it will be like a sort of summary of movie news from the previous week. And although a lot of the things in those videos I might do longer videos on, like in sort of vlog fashion, this will be a sort of like almost like a kind of, I suppose, movie magazine show. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. I don't know exactly when I'll start doing that regularly. I'm hoping that within the next 2 weeks that will start up, and I'm thinking that a good time to do it will be every Friday that I'll release that. And I'll also be doing my analysis and review series again, which I'm really looking forward to. I've really missed doing it. I haven't done it for 3 months, and really looking forward to getting back into doing. For my newer subscribers, if you don't know what that is, I take like a franchise, and I review each film, but I review it in depth. Each video is like half an hour long or something like that, and yeah, like I love doing them. If you're not into the longer videos, don't worry about it. There'll be other short videos put in and around, so you can sort of just disregard if you don't want to watch them. But absolutely give recommendations or suggestions or requests for series that you would like me to review. And if you want an idea of what I'm talking about, I did the Alien franchise on this channel, so you can check that out. Okay, so that's pretty much what I've got in store for this channel over the next short time. So hopefully there'll be like sort of 2 videos a week that will definitely be released on this channel, and probably little spontaneous videos in between. Alright, so I got plenty of questions in my Q&A video. I was really, really happy about it. I thought that I would have to wait a long time to have enough questions, but I have a ton of them, and what I'm going to do is I'm only going to do some of them today, and I'm going to make this a sort of regular series. I'll maybe do one of these every couple of weeks or so, just depending on how many questions I get. So I'll do some of the questions now, and we'll just work our way through it. If you want to ask more questions or bring up more topics to discuss, just drop a comment down below, or go back to the Q&A video and do it there, either way, or in PM, and we'll go through them. It's a bit easier though if you do it on this video, to be honest, but like either way, I'm easy. Alright, so we'll get through a few of these videos first. Alright, so first of all, Max on Trake, and I should say I apologise for if I don't get the names correct. What made you such a big fan of horror stories and films? Good question. As I drop my bottle of water. Good question. I think there's two things that have made me sort of interested in horror stories and films. One, as I've alluded to in the past, I had a few sort of strange experiences as a child. Always made me sort of question whether the paranormal may be real or not. And although I'm non-committal on it, I'm very much neutral. I'm in the middle. You know, I'm open-minded, but I'm critical about these things. I don't think everything has been debunked, but I don't think there's overwhelming evidence in a lot of ways either. So I'm very much in the middle on that subject. But those experiences, which very much could have just been psychological or a child's imagination, but felt very real at the time, those experiences have led me to read a lot about the paranormal over the years. And I think that sort of fueled an interest in horror fiction as well, you know, as your imagination runs riot. But I think the main influence on my love of horror is from my dad, who always read stories to me, and would also tell stories to me, like, you know, sort of old storyteller fashion, without a book or anything like that. And he would do like adaptations of like Edgar Allan Poe, Telltale Heart, stories like that. And he would also take landmarks around Glasgow where I live, and he would talk about those landmarks, and he would make up a ghost story or something like that surrounded that landmark. And that just like totally sparked my imagination and made me really interested in these sorts of things. And film wise, again, he sort of educated me. When my friends were watching a lot of stuff from the 80s, and I did watch a lot of stuff from the 80s and early 90s, but I was being educated on films from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So I got to watch all the Hammer horror movies from the 60s, and that had a massive influence on me. B movies from the 1950s, silent films, you know, like I was given this great education in film, and much of that was of the sort of fantastic, you know, fantasy genres, but not all, you know. I mean, I was brought up in like the Marx Brothers and things like that, Hitchcock. But yeah, it was really down to my dad that sort of made me have this love of horror in general. Okay, the second question from Max on Trake is, if you were to write a horror novel or a horror film script, are there any particular themes or tropes that you would include? Well, for those of you that have been subscribed to me for a little while, you'll know that I do write a lot, and I'm also working on a short film. There's a 45-minute film called Gassed, which is a horror film, and I've actually I've uploaded one of the horror films I've made previously on this channel. You can check it out. It's called The Figure, and I think it's strange, really. I always hated seeing bad things happen to heroes or protagonists when I was a child, but I've noticed in the last sort of 5 years or so, a lot of the stories that I write do seem to have that element where maybe it has a downbeat ending or a rather bleak ending. But I think the most common theme that I seem to write about is loss and grief, and how that can twist even decent people into doing terrible things. and can lead to all sorts of obsession. I find that really interesting to explore. So I think um, that's a lot of the things that I write about in terms of horror. That's where they come from. With regards to sort of conventions in the genre, a lot of sort of ghost stories, Jamesian artifacts, things like that, which I write a lot about, and that's kind of what I do. Um, all right, the last question is from Max on Drake. Is what is your favourite horror film monster or character and why? Um, that's a really good question. Well, I love, you know, character wise, I love Van Helsing. I love Peter Cushing as Van Helsing. He's everything, everything that you would want in a hero. He's true and wise, and he mixes the sort of authority figures of science, and we also feel he's almost got like a priest-like aura to him, and everything that is positive and good about an authority figure, Van Helsing is in Peter Cushing's portrayal, and it always just really impressed me. That character, just absolutely loved it. And conversely, or not conversely, similarly, uh, Christopher Lee as Dracula, I just always found to be a fantastic character. The thing is, a lot of people talk about Christopher Lee's Dracula as being sort of overtly sexual, but I always found that his character was more about power, and he's just a powerful, domineering creature who was just filled with badness. Um, I think it's interesting when you look at some of the research on in psychology on rape, where it seems that rape is often more about power than actually sex, and so perhaps that's where the connection comes from. And there is certainly something very essential about the vampire myth, but I always felt that um, Christopher Lee's Dracula was just more about domineering people or dominating people. Um, I love the creature from the Thing from Another World, the Howard Hawks and Chris Nighy version. Um, I think what gives that creature its power, is actually not when the creature appears, but it's the conversations amongst the scientists. And I always loved, and I always still do love in films and in literature, when people are having academic conversations about what this thing is, and it really fuels the imagination. It goes in loads of different directions, and when they're talking about its vampiric nature, the fact that it's perhaps plant based, that it can regrow itself, all these sorts of things, the fact that this thing has travelled from world to world, it really captured my imagination as a kid, and really made me frightened of it as well. I mean, that scene at the door is still just fantastic. The timing of it is incredible, and I love that film dearly. The Thing from Another World is absolutely fantastic. Um, Other characters, Karl Kolchak from the Night Stalker films and TV series, one of my favourite characters. In fact, I would say the Night Stalker is probably my favourite TV series of all time. The original film is much darker than the rest, but it's one of the best vampire films ever made, in my opinion. Karl Kolchak is a newspaper reporter who, in the first film, is following these murders which are going on throughout Las Vegas, and he is trying to, as a newspaper reporter does, trying to sort of find out as much as possible about this serial killer. And then the question arises: is the serial killer a vampire? And that's where the story sort of goes. And it's Dan McGavin as Karl Kolchak. He's fantastic. He's passionate. He's funny. He's a little bit quirky. The quirkiness comes in even more so later on. He's more of a stronger character, I think, in the original film, and it becomes more comical in the second film, The Night Strangler, and then even more so in the TV series. But I love all of it. It's all fantastic. Karl Kolchak is definitely one of my favourite characters. Max Mercury, one of my subscribers, he sent me a picture of himself dressed as Karl Kolchak for a convention that he went to, and with his friends who were all dressed in fantastic like Ghostbusters outfits. It looked like an absolute blast. And they met Ernie Hudson, and yeah, that was an awesome outfit, man. Really awesome. And because not a lot of people know who Karl Kolchak is, but for those uninitiated, he's fantastic. So definitely check that out. Well, I think I will actually stop there. Thanks very much to Max on Trake for his questions there. I know a lot of this video was taken up with talking about things in the future for my channel, but I don't want these videos to go on for too long, so I will make another one soon and start getting through the questions. If you have any more questions, any other topics that you want to talk about, just leave a comment down below, and I'll make this a running series where I do one of these videos every now and then. But I've got a lot of questions to get through, and I'm really enjoying doing this, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.